Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the HERBMAN Show. Yo, 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 good people. Your homie HERBMAN in the building. Go tell somebody your homie HERBMAN is on. Yes, sir. The HERBMAN is on, man. Ask HERBMAN. Go tell somebody about your homie being on. We're going to get these herbs on, man. We're going to talk about the pH today and how alkalinity and the acids are going to be beneficial to us moving forward. So we will know exactly what we should be what we should be looking for when we're dealing with herbs and when we're dealing with health. All right. So the first thing is we got to look at the potential hydrogen. Okay, these are the hydrogen ions that we produce in our bodies, and this is kind of what's taking place when we're eating the foods that we're eating. So we're going to have to understand what the foods are doing inside of the body, and then how we're able to rectify these issues moving forward with supplementation, changing our diets, exercise, and all of that. All we're trying to do is change the chemistry so that it sways more toward the alkalinity side than the acidic side, all right? So again, we're talking about potential hydrogen. We're going to draw the pH scale. Put the 7 in the middle, 14 in the end, 0. Okay? This is the pH scale. 0, 7, and 14. All right? So the first thing we got to understand is where everything is supposed to be at, you guys. All right? So when we're looking at the blood should be between 7.3 and 7.4. Okay? So slightly alkaline is going to be where the blood is at. All right? 7.3 to 7.4. We're going to call this the blood. Okay? Everybody see that? The blood. The blood is always going to be slightly alkaline, all right? Now, what is taking place in your body? This is very important. So if you guys want to go ahead after I say this, you can go after I say this. But I want you guys to like and share this because I'm finna give you the secret. Your body is going to compensation. It will Why is this so important? That over time, this can cause you to have bone deficiency, osteoporosis, all this type of stuff. All right, so your body is going to compensate to do this magic trick, which is to keep the blood acidic, okay? Your fluids are also acidic. Your fluid, to keep the body alkaline, to keep the blood alkaline. And your fluids are also alkaline, all right? So now what is acidic? What is it that we have to worry about acidic? We're going to put this in a different color. See, this is very important, man, because once you guys understand what the food is doing to you, understand what everything is going on in the body, you can control it with the food. And this is how you actually use food as medicine. But you kind of got to be a biochemist to yourself to understand this degree. All right, so your cells actually are about 6.5, all right? So your cells are actually a little acidic. All right, I want you guys to understand that. Keep liking the video, keep sharing. Your cells are actually 6.5. They're slightly acidic, okay? These are your cells, okay? They're slightly acidic. So cell life is slightly acidic. The blood is alkaline and the cells are slightly acidic. Now, just 1 point down, which we'll say 5.5. Just 1.5, 5.5, 1 point down is where disease can start to fester. Okay? Disease can start to fester at 5.5. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that. So you have foods like Coca-Cola and all these other different acidic foods that can go all the way down to the 3s, the 2s, and all this types of stuff. Let you know how acidic some of these foods are. What happens is the more acidic foods that you eat will start to, this is where you really got to look at. The blood is trying to stay acidic, so it's compensating, right? But just 1 point down, from 6.5 to 5.5, now these cells become diseased. So it's very important for the blood to stay pulling in this 7.3 to 7.4 scale. If you start to pull it down to 7.3, 7.25, 7.10, it's going to start calling what? All right, now let's talk about what is the most acidic thing in the body versus the most alkaline. What do you guys think those are? Anybody got a guess on what is the most acidic thing in the body and what is the most alkaline? Anybody can guess out there? Anybody can guess that? What is the most acidic thing in the body and what is the most alkaline? If you guys don't know, I'm going to tell you. Okay? The most alkaline thing in the body is calcium, you guys, all right? The most alkaline thing in the body is calcium, okay? The most acidic thing in the body is sulfur or sulfuric acid, okay? Sulfur or sulfuric acid, okay? So this is how we keep our pool clean. This is what your body is going to call for sometimes when it needs to do this balance. So once the blood starts going to 7.25, 7.24, it starts to go down from 7.3, it instantly calls on what? Calcium. This calcium right here comes from where? So now let's talk about the organs that are actually playing a role in all of this balance, okay? One key one is going to be the kidneys. The kidneys are going to play a major role in the pH balance of the body, okay? With this blood, with your fluids, with this cells, all of this stuff, the kidneys are going to play a major role in the pH of the body, especially when the first cannot handle it, which is going to be the what? The lungs. The lungs are going to play the other key role in the body, okay? The lungs are going to play the other key role in the body. The lungs are the first defense to keep this pH the way that it should be. Okay, the lungs are the first things that try to keep our body's pH balanced. Okay, the lungs are the first. When the lungs cannot handle it, then that's when it will call on calcium, which then is the backup of the kidneys. So these are not the first soldiers on the battlefield. These are actually very slow in acting, but when they do come in, they have a longer effect, okay? So when this calcium comes in, this calcium phosphate comes into the blood, it really will change the situation right here with the blood, okay? It will push this back on up to 7.3 to 7.4, okay? It just doesn't come first, but when it does come, it's doing this doggone thing, which is why the kidneys are so important to dealing with the pH, which is why you can't be taking pills all your life. If you're on high blood pressure medication, diabetic medication, or any of these other medications that are going to slowly start to deteriorate the kidneys. When that starts to happen, then now you start to mess with the pH. Remember, 1 point down from the cells are acidic, but 1 point down in 5.5, and you're looking at cell death. Okay? You're looking at cell death. Now, what are some of the other things, too, that you need to worry about? All right? 8.0. 8.0, you're going to be in a coma and die, okay? 8.0, you're going to be in a coma and die, okay? Now, if you're looking at the blood and the acidic, okay? If you're going down to 7.2, okay, 7.2, you're going to be headed to death. If the blood is in 7.2, you're going to be headed to death. So that's just how narrow it is for you to understand this pH balance and what the body is actually doing, okay? 8.0 and you die. Okay, you're going to go into a coma and you die if you get too alkaline. 7.2 and you're going to die if that blood gets too acidic. Even though it's still alkaline, around 7.2, you're going to go into a coma and you're going to start having some issues, all right? So very, very narrow balancing act that the lungs and the kidneys have to deal with, all right? Now, when you're looking at your foods and you're looking at the herbs, obviously you want things that are going to keep you on the alkaline side. The biggest point to that is because the biggest reason you want to do alkaline foods is because you want to keep this cells right around this 6.5. You don't want it to go too acidic. You can't afford for that 1 point differentiation. So therefore, you're going to eat more alkaline foods in order for you to keep this at homeostasis, okay? In order for you to keep these cells living well, and long as the cells are living well, your tissues are doing well, your organs are doing well, and that means your organ systems are doing well, and that means you are healthy. You're looking well, you're feeling well, and you're being well. Right? So that's where the alkaline foods come in at, is to make sure that this cell 6.5, that this stays where it needs to be, because any false move, that 1 point jump can start to create dis-ease in the body. Okay? It can start to create dis-ease in the body. All right? Now you want to make sure that these are never getting clogged up. You want to make sure that you have bronchodilation, okay? Opening of the airways. You want to make sure these never get clogged up. So, i.e., wearing masks all day is not going to help this pH of the body, okay? But also, you want to make sure that these are also filtering, okay? So, taking pills all your life is not going to help this particular situation that you got going on. Now, when you always got to call this calcium out to help out the situation because you're eating too many acid-forming foods, right? And you always got to call this calcium phosphate out. Not only are you going to be running into osteoporosis, but where does all of this calcium go in the body? Where does all this calcium go in the body? Once it's done its job and it's eased you back up into where the blood should be, then you have a lot of this calcium phosphate floating in the body. And this is where we get these bone spurs and kidney stones and gallstones and cholesterol and, calcification in our arteries and our veins. All of these things because we're in a constant state of calling on the kidneys to metabolize the body, to keep the pH going. Remember, your body is doing this whether you like it or not. Your body is doing this. It is compensating whether you like it or not. Based on the exercise you're doing, based on the breathing you're doing, based on the work activities you're doing, based on the life activities you're doing, based on what you're eating, based on your environmental situation. This is happening whether you like it or not. So the biggest thing that you have to understand is how all of this stuff works, okay? So these are very important to the pH scale. It's also very important to body temperature. So this is where your thyroid is also going to play a part in keeping this pH down. So we got to understand that. The endocrine system is going to be very important to this pH balance. Also the digestive system. So now we're going to put in the colon, because the colon is what is putting the waste in the blood, right? When you eat, your intestines extract all of the juices out of the foods that you got, and they dump it in the blood, okay? They dump it in the blood. So another organ that we're going to have to put down here to make sure that is working properly is the colon, because the colon is dumping the stuff into the blood. Now, who processes all of this stuff that's been dumped in the blood? What is the next organ that is very important to the processing of what you just dumped in the blood via what you've eaten, what you've drank, and all this type of stuff? The processor is the liver, okay? The liver processes all of this stuff that has just been dumped into the blood, right? And then this blood that has just been processed now, what the liver does, it gets out all the dead cells, it gets out all the microorganisms, it gets out all of the chemicals, all of the drugs, it handles the alcohol, all of this acidic stuff that's in the blood that's been dumped into it from the digestive system. The liver processes it all and puts it all where it needs to be, and then it sends the blood that has been freshly processed to the lungs. The lungs then dump the oxygen in it, right? And now this blood mixed with the vitamins, the right vitamins and minerals and all the stuff that you need with oxygen is now being utilized in the body, right? Then now from that cellular waste now starts to happen, right? Because you're giving everything good fuel. So now these cells are starting to do their thing. They're starting to grow. They're starting to be utilized in the way that you need for them to be utilized for your energy. This energy gives off a waste product. These cells get off a waste product. This waste product now is being filtered by the kidneys. It's being filtered by the kidneys. Okay? So you have one thing dealing with cellular waste, while you have another thing dealing with digestive waste. Okay? So the liver is more dealing with the digestive waste, while the kidneys are more dealing with the cellular waste. So when you're looking for what is the problem, 9 times out of 10 is going to be in the cellular waste. Unless you're highly constipated and you haven't boo-booed and there's no way to get you to boo-boo, then you can handle the food and the and all of that, because 9 times out of 10 your digestive system is going to handle that. But what we're not focusing on is the cellular waste having to be expelled or excreted through the kidneys. So these are your organs of elimination. Okay, and then there's one more organ that we got to talk about, because now when the kidneys cannot filter, when the liver gets overwhelmed or you got fatty liver or something like that, and the lungs has been overwhelmed, there's one more eliminatory body organ that starts to try to jump in to help. Okay, this has to happen in order for you to get this waste out of you. And that is going to be the skin, okay? That is going to be the skin. The skin is the very next thing to try to jump in and help us when we are over intoxicated, okay? And then therefore things are going to try to come out of the pores, okay? I.e., you start dealing with acne issues, boil issues, you start dealing with pimples everywhere, dandruff, okay? All kinds of stuff, athlete's foot, matter in the eyes. All this stuff is just waste trying to come out of the body some kind of way. So therefore, it's going to start to protrude through the skin, through the pores, okay? So the skin is there to help as a last defensive mechanism to get this waste, this cellular waste, out of the body. So it's very important to keep your lungs and your kidneys very healthy in this duration of life, okay? If you're really trying to worry about your immune system, make sure that you have bronchial dilation, making sure that you also have kidney filtration. That is going to be where you're going to be able to keep your body balanced along with the foods that you're intaking to make sure that you are alkaline all the way up, okay? So for a person that is young, that is fairly healthy, that came up on maybe a vegan or vegetarian diet, in order for that individual to maintain health, I'm going to recommend that that individual stay eating foods that are 70% alkaline and 30% acidic. Okay? 70% alkaline and 30% acidic. These are for people who have already been vegans for most of their lives or vegetarians for most of their lives. Okay? For these people, in order to maintain some sense of health, you need to eat 70% alkaline, 30% acidic. For people who have never, ever considered eating healthy at all, okay? Eating healthy at all and want to try to change their diet. They want to try to change the trajectory of their health. They want to try to do something right now that's going to make a very drastic change into their health. I'm going to say that you need to at least go to an 80-20, alkaline to acid foods, okay? And if you're dealing with cancers, if you're dealing with terminal ill situations, you need to go 100% fruits. That's it. Yes. My issues are diabetes and cluster headaches. Great conversation, bro. Thank you. Yeah, man. But again, man, you know, this is what it's all about, right? So again, getting back to this, right? These are your 5 organs, right? That we want to definitely pay attention to is what they call the organs of elimination. Okay, these are your excretory organs. When you're talking about your kidneys, all right, your digestive system, the colon, the liver being the processor, the lungs being the filterer, along with the skin helping us out. Now, one key thing I want you guys to understand about this, right? One key thing I want you guys to understand about this. These are also all the ways that you can help the lymphatic system drain itself. I'm going to repeat that. This is also all of the ways that you can help the lymphatic system drain itself. So what I mean about the lymphatic system, we just got through talking about the cellular waste, right? So that's what we're talking about. The cellular waste goes through a system called the lymphatic system. What are the 5 ways that you can help the lymphatic system give off these waste products? All right. You can do it through defecation, which is going to include the colon. Okay. You can do it through expectorants, coughing up the mucus out of the lungs. You can do it through diaphoretic, right? diaphoretic, diaphoretic. You do it through diaphoretic, that's going to help promote sweating, which is going to help detoxify the body through the skin. You can do it through diuretics. All right, that's going to help us promote urine flow and get all of the toxins as much as we can out of the body. And then you can also add in there, all right, you're going to add in there some hepatic herbs, some HEPATECIS, right? Some hepatic herbs, all right, hepatic. You're going to add them in there. And when you add them hepatic herbs in there, then now you have a full range of a lymphatic detoxification system. The detoxification processes that you guys are buying are just focusing on the colon, and that is not a detoxification program. Again, your digestive system works. What you put in your mouth comes out of your butt. That normally will work, okay? What it may not be working is what the cells are utilizing and then what they're putting into the body, okay? Again, what we're trying to duck and dodge is this 1 point differentiation from it being 6.5 cellular life thriving in this acidic environment to if it goes down 1 more point, you talking about we in disease state. Okay, we're talking about we're in the disease state. So what are some of the foods that are going to keep us in this alkaline state? What are some of the foods that are going to keep us in this alkaline state? So the first one are going to be lemons and limes, okay? Lemons and limes are going to keep us in this alkaline state. Now, I know they may be acidic, but they actually go into the body and alkalize it, okay? So lemons and limes are going to be the first things that you want to look for when you're trying to do alkaline foods, all right? What is another one? Another one is going to be the ancient grains, okay? What ancient grains? We're talking about millet, amaranth, sorghum, okay? All of these are going to be very good at alkalizing the body, okay? They're going to be very good at alkalizing the body. Again, lemons, millet, amaranth, sorghum, okay? If you're looking at spelt, okay, all that type of stuff is going to be very good at being alkaline. If you're looking at the beans are lentils, okay, lentils, lima beans. These are going to be your alkaline foods, okay? These are going to be your alkaline foods. They're going to keep you over here on the alkaline side of things. Lemons, millet, amaranth, quinoa, sorghum, okay, teff. All of these foods are going to be alkaline. Lentils, lima beans, okay? This is the stuff that's going to keep you away from being too acidic. Also the fruits, the melons, the berries, okay? The fruits, the melons, the berries, for the most part, are going to be alkaline. Fruits, dark green leafy vegetables. Dark green leafy vegetables. All right, so for me, what is the dark green leafy vegetables? Swiss chard, arugula, watercress, okay, callaloo, things like that are going to be very, very alkaline for the body. Dark green leafy vegetables, things like arugula, watercress, bok choy, uh, uh, I know people always talk about the spinaches and the kale and all of that. I want you guys to choose different stuff. The Swiss chard is going to be good. Watercress, arugula, the callaloo, you know, all of those types of stuff that you're not eating are going to be very beneficial. Pineapple is that good. Pineapple is going to be acidic. Okay? Pineapple is going to be acidic. So you do have fruits that are going to be acidic. So you have to sift through those. So that's why you want to stay in there with the berries and the melons. Okay, the berries and the melons. If you're dealing with acidic situation, you definitely don't want to go toward the citrus too much. So stay up there with the berries and the melons, and you should be good to go. Okay. Now, what are some of the acidic foods? It's going to be basically all the processed stuff of these, all the processed version of these, all the refined version of these. So fruit should be your sugar, but if you want to go acidic, then you're just going to go with sugar, not fruits. So that's going to be too acidic. If you want to go with, you know, these hybridized legumes, so you're talking about black-eyed peas, red peas, kidney beans, all that type of stuff is going to be acidic. It doesn't mean that you can't eat it. Again, you should be 70-30, 80-20. It just means that when you're sick, when you're terminally ill, you want to stay away from anything acidic, right? And you want to eat from the alkaline side. But if you're looking at it from a day-to-day basis, you can have some of these foods because there's a small portion of them, okay, that you're going to be required to have a little bit of something, right? So eating kidney beans every now and then is not going to kill you. Eating black-eyed peas every now and then is not going to kill you. Eating chickpeas or garbanzo beans every now and then is not going to kill you, although they're on the acidic side of the fence, okay? All right? The sugars, okay, are too acidic. They're down here in the 3 point when you're talking about these sugars. 3 and 4, sugary drinks, Coca-Cola, all that. You're talking about 2, 3, and 4 area of acidity. So that can bring that cell situation down a lot further, and now you're in that disease state. Okay? The cells only need to be in the disease state at 5.5. You will get in your blood will get in a disease state whether it goes to 8 or whether it goes a little bit to the left or right now. So it's very critical that we keep this up. Again, your body is going to do this without your control. Your body is going to do this, you guys, without your control. So it doesn't matter if you eat right or not. Your body is going to do this compensation system. It's compensatory. It's going to do this whether you do something about it or not. But what's going to happen is when you don't do something about it, it's going to compensate too much from the liver, and then you're going to have a liver deterioration. It's going to compensate too much from the colon, and then you're going to have digestive issues. It's going to compensate too much from the lungs, and then you're going to have respiratory issues. It's going to compensate too much from the skin, and then you're going to have skin issues. It's going to compensate too much from the kidneys, and then you're going to have kidney failure. It's going to compensate too much from the bones, and then you're going to have skeletal issues. So this is where this compensatory comes in. This is where organ failure also starts to manifest itself. Your body is going to put itself together no matter if you like it or not. But it will compensate. Okay? So what is it going to compensate when it comes to vitamins and minerals? Let's talk about that very quickly. So what are some of the other alkaline vitamins and minerals in the body? Well, we know a lot of them, but it's going to be sodium, potassium. Where's my other pen there? It's going to be all your alkalines, right? So you got your sodiums, your potassiums, you got your iron, you got your magnesium, what else you got? Sodium, potassium, iron, magnesium, and then you got your calcium, which we talked about before, right? These are your alkaline minerals. So this is what the body is going to need to keep down the acidity in the body, okay? Now we also talked about the major acid mineral in the body, but let's talk about some more. So these are your sulfurs or your sulfates. These are your phosphorus, okay? Your sulfurs and your phosphorus. And then the next one is going to be your chlorines, okay? Your chlorines, okay? So if you're eating foods that has high sulfur, high phosphate, and high chlorine in there, okay, then you automatically know that you are acidifying the body. See, sulfur, phosphates, chlorine is on the acid end of this spectrum. So we're eating foods with this high in there, then you know you're going to give your body too much acids. What are the major foods that have this in there? Meats. The meat family. The meat has these sulfurs, phosphates, and this chlorine in it. Also the sugars. It could also be the wheats. Okay? It could also be the unrefined, the grains, right? It could be those grains like rice and potatoes and all this type of stuff. So you just gotta be careful. All right. Now, what do you need to alkaline the body? As you can see, that's sodium, potassium, iron, magnesium, and calcium. So you need to start putting in more of these substances. So I'm just showing you how to do this from a food perspective, from a vitamin and mineral perspective, from a diet perspective, from a lifestyle perspective. Anytime we move and we create lactic acid, create this carbonic acid, this uric acid, all of this, the body starts to tilt toward acidity. So what it does is it compensates. It pulls from different areas of the body. Mainly, it's going to pull these alkaline minerals, right? It's going to pull the alkaline minerals so that it can compensate to bring that number back to homeostasis. It's easy. It's easy. Why are you still alive? Because of this compensatory system. Why hasn't a Coca-Cola killed you? Because of this compensatory system. Why isn't it the fried chicken hasn't killed you? It's because of this compensatory system. Why hasn't the bad diet killed you? Because of this compensatory system. And we depend on this compensatory system on a day out and day in basis. This is doing something to keep you alive, whether you are doing the best things or not. But over time, this compensation will start to drain. All right, this robbing Peter to pay Paul system will start to deplete the body of its mineralization. Therefore, you'll start to have more disease cells in a disease state than you do in the alkaline state. So that's just the quick underline of how we're able to keep everything in design. It's also me showing you exactly what food is doing to the body. Okay? It also is showing you where your body is trying to keep itself at all times within this blood parameter, 7.3 to 7.4. It's trying to keep itself there at all times. So what we eat can sway this a little, and then the body will compensate to bring it back. Okay? If you're doing too alkaline, right? If you're getting too high up, it'll bring itself back. So it's trying to keep yourself in this neutralization, which is the alkaline state for the blood, the alkaline state for the fluids, right? Is also trying to keep this up for it to be acidic for the cell at 6.5 to 6.9. This is the life of the cell. This is the life of the blood. Your body is constantly trying to keep the metabolistic state of these two at homeostasis, meaning at balance. So the air that we breathe in, the movement that we make, the foods that we digest, the environment and all it gives us, all plays a role in how these things stay in this little Richter scale here, okay? How this thing stay balanced, okay, into this podium, in this seesaw of life. And all of these organs are attributing to that process. So when you're looking for a detox, okay, when you're looking for a detox, You never want a detox that's just focusing on the colon, because it's not a true detox. We just talked about that. Okay? When you're looking for a detox, you don't want something that's just focusing on the kidneys, because that's not the only organ of elimination in the body. When you're looking for a detox, you don't want something that just wants you to work out and sweat all the time. Although sweating is a very, very integral part of detoxification and is one of the most major ways of detoxifying the body. But you just don't want to depend on the skin, okay? When you're looking for a detox, you just don't want something that's going to be agitated to the lungs, right? You don't just want something that's going to make you cough up mucus, because that may not necessarily be the only area that mucus is forming in, okay? So when you're looking for a detox, you want a detox that actually is going to help the lymphatic system pull mucus out and expel mucus out of these 5 areas. You want a detox that's going to get toxins out of the lungs, out of the skin, out of the kidneys, out of the liver, and out of the colon. This is how you want a detox, okay? When you do this detox and you get this excess cellular waste out of the body that may be causing some obstructions in the lymphatic system or your circulatory system, therefore you can rid yourself of ever having to worry about heart disease or any type of cancerous growth. I just gave you guys the download. When you do a great detox that will address these 5 organ systems, okay, and you're getting the toxins out of these 5 ways of elimination, right, then you can rid yourself of ever having to deal with cardiovascular disease, heart disease, which is the #1 killer in the world. Why is that going to happen? Because you're going to be filtering the kidneys and the liver, which these 2 play an integral role in making sure that the blood is cleansed. So when you're looking at blood cleansing, you got to look at the organs that do that, because you can't really cleanse your own blood. So what you do is you clean the filtration system of the blood. Therefore, the blood get cleansed a lot better. Does that make sense? You can't cleanse the blood, but what you can do is cleanse the filtration systems of the blood. And therefore, when these get cleaned up, they will filter more things out of the blood, which i.e. in return, you cleaned your blood. Okay? You cleaned your blood. When you're looking at the toxins that's in the body, right? So this is halogen toxins, and this is halogen toxins from the food. So when these 2 things can't handle the toxins anymore, they get overloaded, right? And then they can start to get clogged up. A clogization in the lungs will cause you to have high heart rate. High heart rate means high blood pressure. High blood pressure means high body temperature. Now your body's heating up and it's starting to melt down all of the organs, okay? So now everything is overworking, overactive, and starting that process because it's less oxygen in the body, okay? When your colon gets clogged up and you can't expel the foods that are actually being put in the body for the vitamin and mineral nutrition, then what's going to happen is this food is going to ferment. This fermentation then will start to acidify the body, i.e. the intestines, and now you start to have food burning through the intestines, and you start having this acid get into the bloodstream, and then now you start to sway the bloodstream, which is now going to start to push the cellular life, which is at 6.5 down to 5.5, and now disease is going to start to fester. So this is all a connection, okay? If you start wearing too much antiperspirants and you're not allowing your body to sweat because you like looking too pretty and you don't want to be outside in the sun, so you got vitamin D deficiency, you know what I mean? You got all this stuff going on because you don't like to sweat. You don't like being out in the sun for long periods of time. When you do that, you clog up the body, you internalize all these mucus that's supposed to come out of the body, you then internalize it. So what happens, now you start to have internal acne, okay? Now you start having internal acne as well as external acne. So not only will you start seeing stuff grow on the skin because of your antiperspirants, right, that you're putting on your body with all these chemicals and all this stuff going on our skin and in our skin products, not only are you doing that to cause pimples and bumps on your skin, you're also doing that to cause fibroids, endometriosis, and all kind of internal acne as well. Okay? So that's just the connection that's going on here, man. So I didn't mean to make this video long, but I definitely wanted to make it strong. You guys go tell somebody about your homie Herb, man. This is what health looks like. This is what health is all about. I love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go tell somebody to go tell somebody. Until next time. Love Herb, man. Yes, sir.
Yo, good people. Welcome to the HERBMAN Show.